Whether you're watching, listening or reading this, welcome back to the Runpreneur vlog, where we're on a mission to raise £1 million for children's charities by run vlogging on consecutive days, the distance of one lap around the world. It is a staggering 40,075 kilometres. It's going to take somewhere in the region of 11 years to accomplish, so plenty of time to raise that money. I'm going to commit to running a minimum of 5 kilometres every day whilst vlogging, and I'll even do it barefoot style. So for those regulars will know that I vlog about my passions, which are entrepreneurship and running, and most importantly how these topics can link together to help people overcome the emotions of stress, overwhelm and anxiety by using exercise as a release mechanism. And it's a beautiful morning today. It's a little bit breezy, but it's about 13 degrees, so nice for this time of the morning, so lovely running conditions. And it's Friday Funnels today, where we talk about all things sales funnels and marketing. And today's topic is my review on the book The Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort. So as always, please give this challenge some support by subscribing to the content, sharing and liking the material. And as always, let's get started. So, Jordan Belfort, The Way of the Wolf, the book. And if you're not familiar with the book, you may be familiar with the film, which is The Wolf of Wall Street. And it follows the journey of Jordan Belfort, who's the author of this book. And he was somebody who made his name selling penny stocks on Wall Street and becoming exceptionally good at selling, built sales teams and just seemed to kind of take over the world with selling stocks and shares basically. And the book's really cool. It's about selling ultimately and his approach to why he had so much success. All right, just pre-warning here, I'm going through a field with some big old cows, hopefully no bulls, so hopefully I don't get railroaded here as I run through this field. But yeah, so this cow isn't really looking to move, so I might have to swerve him and go right round over here, because I do not fancy getting taken out by a big cow. And I find that they get a bit more confident. Oh, there's definitely a bull over there. So, and there's young calves as well. So, not going to tempt fate. I'm going to go the long way around in case it decides to shake those dreaded hooves and start charging towards me. Sorry, I digress. So, ultimately, it is about selling and how you can become much better at selling. Now, I prefer marketing myself, but what's the point in being able to market if you can't sell? So that's where this book hopefully comes in super handy, and it gives you some really cool kind of simplified understandings of the sales process, and it's a simple guidance that Jordan Belfort has adopted personally and with all his sales teams that he's built. So just bear with me, I've got all sorts of stuff hanging through my feet now. I've been running through undergrowth. Just bear with me 1 second. So we'll start with the kind of big headline really. It's more the whole concept he calls straight line selling, and ultimately it's very muddy here as well. What he's saying is that every sale is ultimately the same. Now, there can be very unique experiences, but the process of a successful sale is always the same. And he calls this mechanism the straight line sales process. It's broken down predominantly like this. So ultimately, he says there's three things that you need to build trust and credibility with your potential customer on every sales process. The journey is building that credibility. It's not selling, it's building the credibility in each of these kind of categories. And the three categories are people, products, company. What I mean by that? Well, the first things first is product, okay? Whatever you're selling, the product or service, there is a continuum from 0 or 1 to 10, okay? 1 being they absolutely hate and detest the product or service that you're selling them. And number 10 being that they are like the biggest fan. They think it's life-changing and they can't wait to get their hands on it. And obviously all the different levels in between. And your job is to get them as high up the continuum, as close to 10 as possible on the product. And you're going to do that by kind of building trust, with them about what the product and service can do. There might be testimonials, people that have had results based on using a product and service that you can kind of share with them, and talking them through in a step-by-step process how it works, what the benefits of it. And the other thing with this whole approach is that people buy off emotion, but you use logic to reinforce their emotions, if that makes sense. So you're selling to the emotional experience they're going to be getting from purchasing whatever they've done with you, and then you're backing up their decision-making process with logic. Understanding that, just going past someone here. So the next one is, before we go on to the next category, is the importance of the first 4 seconds. And he does a lot of coverage on this section about first impressions. You're not going to make a sale in that first 4 seconds, but you can certainly lose them, and so many people do lose them. He talks a huge amount about body language, tonality, if that's the right word, and advanced tonality, how you can kind of coerce and talk your way through situations in a very ethical manner, but it's overcoming the objections. So the next category in the straight line selling approach is people, and the people is you, the salesperson, the person who's selling the product or service. Okay, and again, 1 to 10. If you're not, if they trust you with their life, they're a 10. If they don't trust you as far as they can throw you, then you're a 1, and obviously somewhere in between. And again, your process is taking them on a journey to take them up that trust category. And it might be that you might have to have several calls with them till they start trusting you, and that's absolutely fine. But it's really important to understand this, because then when you're starting to look at ranking where their levels are on each of these continuums, it allows you to kind of categorize and segment your prospects more effectively. So, and this, you're building trust, you're building rapport, you're finding common ground, you're coming across that you've genuinely got their best interests at heart rather than just making a quick buck. So that's the kind of obstacles you're going to overcome here. And then the last one is the company or the business. So what's the business's reputation? Again, if it's like Apple and you're an Apple fan, then that's going to be 10. If you don't like Apple and you're maybe a Samsung fan, then maybe it's a 1, but you get the principle. It's how much they trust the company, the brand, the business. You need to be able to overcome things. If it's a new company, give them confidence that the personnel that's working within it have got the experience, the expertise, etc. So you're going to kind of overcome the risks that they're believing of putting money in with a kind of new startup. So confidence in the personnel, confidence in existing performance to date, confidence in that the company's not going to go under, and all that side of things. Straight line selling is about taking them from point A to point B. And the point is that you don't ask for the sale until you've got all 3 of those continuums to a certain level, higher up. I mean, you certainly wouldn't even consider it under a 7, and you probably want to get 8 and 9s before you'd even consider that. It's highly unlikely you're going to get them all to 10s, but if you get them to that kind of above 5, you're then working with something. If they're below 5, quite often it can be a lost cause from the beginning. If they're about 5, you've got the opportunity to take them on this journey of what we call straight line selling, A to B. Now, when you're talking to them, you're taking them hopefully along the A to B, A being new prospect, B being customer, and the journey you're taking them along. They're going to be giving you obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, and they're always going to be linked around whether they lack of trust for the product, for the person, or the company. And your role is, so if it's a straight line, they're kind of going to be going up and down all over it, and your job is to pull them back to that straight line and back to that shortest path. But it's never going to be exactly that that exact journey. There's always going to be obstacles, so it's always going to be a longer kind of detoured based journey, but it will always follow the same principle. When you understand these principles, and he talks about a lot of advanced tonality, how you're always asking for permission. Can I tell you about this part of the product? Can I, when they say something that's an objection, you never cut it down. You go, yes, I hear exactly what you're saying, then I fully understand. However, or you kind of, I'm not the best at this, by the way. I've never been the best salesperson. I have had some success in sales, but it's not my forte. But I certainly learned a lot, and I got a very good understanding of what the elite salespeople do and how well they do it. And when you become elite, this stuff becomes very natural. Okay, it's repetition. The more you do it, the better you come. But if you have a framework that is proven it works, it's going to make a huge difference. So it's the tonality and that you overcome objections is very, very important. You kind of almost want to position that you're a team player and you're on their team. Okay, so you're helping them and you're like the captain of their team. You're pulling them along this journey of hopefully it's going to get them to success, which to you is a sale, and hopefully to them is something that's going to give them something in their lives that they want or need. So that's pretty much the high level points without going too deep on this stuff. I read the book quite a long time ago, so I'm pulling this back from kind of memory, so apologies if it's not as detailed as it possibly could be. But I think there's enough in this episode that gives you enough content and understanding to how you can implement this into your sales pipelines, how you can segment your prospects more accordingly, so that you know where they are, you're ranking them, so you know how close you are to be able to ask them for a sale, which I think is really important, because quite often with CRMs and sales pipelines, they're very, very generic categories you put them in, and in actual fact this is a much more detailed approach which gives a much better and truer reflection of sales forecasts of how close you are to converting certain individuals. That's pretty much it for me today. Hope that has been useful. I'm working on my team with this at the moment to try and get them better at sales conversions. We also have just taken on 20 commission only people, and we'll certainly look to do some kind of selling training with them over the course there. They're also sourcing and marketing for us as well. So we're doing a lot of training with these guys at the moment, and this is certainly the strategy I'll use when it comes to selling techniques. You should definitely use it. It will make a game-changing difference to your business if you get this right, because you're learning from one of the best people that have ever lived in Jordan Belfort. So, really cool book. If you love sales, you will absolutely love the book. If you don't love sales, you'll learn to understand it a bit better, and you may not have as much fear for selling as you previously did. So get a look at the book. It's really good. I'm not affiliated with it in any way, shape or form. It's just a really, really good sales book. So hopefully that helps. So that's it for me today. As always, if you've got any comments, drop me a comment. I'll respond to everyone. Bigger topic, I'll do a separate vlog episode and tag you in. Do check the links in my bio. We're about to launch the Runpreneur challenge, which is raising £1 million for children's charities by run vlogging on consecutive days, a distance of 1 lap around the world. So please, subscribe to the content. It's completely free to do that, and share it and like it. It will get it in front of more people, which will give us a chance of raising that huge figure. All I have to say is that the content I vlog about running and entrepreneurship and how it's linked with helping people to overcome the emotions of stress, overwhelm and anxiety by using exercise as a release mechanism, because we all experience the daily and weekly pressures in the form of stress, and we need to find that release mechanism in our lives. So I get it from run vlogging or exercise. Many people get it from other things, but it's so important to have that process of processing what's gone on, gaining clarity, refocusing, clearing your head and moving on. If you don't have that, those pressures are going to build up like pressure builds in a pipe, and before you know it, you'll be overwhelmed. Too many things going on in your head, you won't know where to start, so you'll procrastinate, you'll almost have a seizure, and you'll freeze, and then it can evolve into panic and anxiety. As soon as you get to that stage, you're flirting with the edges of mental health issues, which clearly we want to avoid. And in this analogy of the pipe and the pressure, the pipe bursts and you have a mental breakdown. Now, I've been there. I've lost multiple businesses, business partners. I've almost been bankrupt for these exact reasons. And there's no coincidence. In the past 1 year of doing this running vlog, I've made more progress in all facets of my life than I have done in the previous 5 years. So this stuff really does work. I've also helped hundreds of entrepreneurs and business people deal with these exact issues. So my pledge to you is, if you're someone who's struggling with this, drop me a message. Runpreneur vlog is not for profit. There's no sale, no catch. It's completely free. Drop me a message. We'll jump on a call. I'll give you a step-by-step guide on how we can get you back on the right path and get your life back under control and on the right pathway to success, whatever it looks like to you. So hope that's useful. I'll leave you as always. Stay positive, stay happy. and I'll see you tomorrow.